The market bounces off support. Are the bulls back in control?
This is Invest with Jacob.
Okay guys, so in yesterday's video we were 50-50 on whether the market would take that 3 of 3 path to the downside directly or hold support and bounce in a potential wave 2 or B. The reason for this is the NASDAQ was a little bit extended and didn't have quite the fit that the SPX did. The market does look like it's bouncing in a potential wave 2 or B. Now the question is, which is it? I'll get into that in just one second, but first, if you're new here, welcome to the show guys. My name is Jacob Gabbard and this is Invest with Jacob, where we use Elliott Wave Theory to break down the SP 500 and the NASDAQ. I highly encourage you to hit that subscribe button down below so that you can get our daily S&P updates, our trade setups, and our buy alerts. All right, guys, with the bounce here, it does look like the market wants to move up a little bit before moving down again. So let's jump into the chart and take a look. Okay, guys, so here we are on the 5-minute SPX chart. And as you can see, they did move down. They gapped it down to start the day. They tried to get down into the pivot and failed. They held this support we have talked about. And it's not uncommon to see them reject support here, but they did come up quite high, so it does not look like they're going to follow through. As long as they're below this wave 4 that I have labeled high, as long as they're below that, they can still technically bring it down. They do still have a valid setup, but this move has gotten quite high, so it doesn't make it a much less likely, as well as the NASDAQ formation that we'll look at here in just a little bit. So off of the high, it does look like 5 down, which would be impulsive, but it is a micro count. And remember, we start with micros, and micros are the weakness of Elliott Wave. They fail quite often because what we're trying to do is build a bigger count, and what you need is several micros to line up with that. So until we get a few micros to line up to give us more of a macro count, we still continue to have several options at what we're looking at. But this does look like a 5 down, okay? And then this would look like a potential one. You can count this one of two ways, where you got A here, and then you got B down, and then they just about hit the, or they actually hit the 1.0 here right at the close. Where you would expect that to top and then get a pullback, or you could have had an A, B, C running flat here, and that would target a little bit higher up around the 43.85 area for its 1.0. So a couple ways to look at that particular setup. The C wave on the first setup would have to be a diagonal, which it does kind of fit that that mold there. You've got this move here, and then you've got this move here, which does create a diagonal type structure. So this C wave, if you had an A and B, this C wave would be a diagonal, and then you'd look for a pretty sharp sell-off back to this point towards 43.57, where they would hold and then come back up in a bigger C wave. So in either case, I would expect this to be wave A, then look for a pullback, then a wave, this would be wave B pullback, and then a wave C up toward our resistance area, which is the 4400 to 4425 area. We would look for that as the wave 2 or wave B target on the SPX. So that's how I would view this. It's a little bit sloppy off of this low. It definitely doesn't look impulsive to the upside. So in that case, we would look for either a wave 2 or B to the upside. Now, if this is wave 2, we would look for A, B, wave 1 down, wave 2 up, and then you'd look for a 5-wave move down off of this that comes down to about here for wave 1 of 3. Then you'd look for a 2 of 3 and then a breakdown. If it is a wave B, then you'd look for a C wave down, and that C wave would target around that 4300 to 4260 area I've been talking about down here as a potential ABC down for a bigger wave 4 in the bullish count. Again, I don't like that bullish count. I don't think that's what we're in. I do think we should see lower than that, but we do have to stay on our toes and keep an eye on it, as they did push up over the 1.0 here. So an ABC count would put us down in that 4260 area where you'd look for support to hold, and then one more push higher in 5 of 3 back toward the all-time highs. Again, I don't like that count, but it is the bullish alternative if this is a wave B to the upside. Now, again, you keep in mind, as long as we're below this wave 4, they can take it directly lower in wave 3 of 3. But because of the NASDAQ and because of how high they've climbed on this wave 4, I don't think that's going to be the case. Over on the NASDAQ, okay, the NASDAQ's a lot more clear in my opinion. They came up just about to the 1.0 so far on this move up. It doesn't have as much sideways chop as the SPX does. And it's still a corrective move. There's overlap here. It doesn't fill out 5 waves right here. It comes back, overlaps, and then up. So it's much more of an ABC pattern than it is an impulsive pattern, in my opinion. And that would be where we would target about the 15,239 region, come back to about the 15,055, and then target the 15,355 region. So we'd look for that kind of move up and then a move down from there, and 1 of 3, 2 of 3, and so on, very similar to the SPX. So this ABC pattern would be a wave 2, potentially a wave B to the upside, and then we would look for lower from there. The reason I don't think the SPX will take the direct route lower is that the NASDAQ just isn't set up for it. The best you could count this as is one down, and you could say, because we got very close to the 50% retrace, you could say, okay, well, this is wave 2, and then they could get wave 1 of 3 down in the NASDAQ while the SPX sinks, and then 2, and then down. They could coordinate it that way, but again, when they aren't on the same page, it does make it harder for the market to do two different things, because the markets kind of move as one. Not exactly as you saw today, the NASDAQ goes up much more than the SPX, but the idea is NASDAQ's up, SPX is up, NASDAQ's down, SPX is down, that kind of thing. So you would expect them to be in sync, and that this doesn't quite sync up, but this would be how it would have to sync up, where 1 of 3 down in the NASDAQ would coincide with 3 of 3 down on the SPX. So that's the more bearish alternative, where they turn down right away. I don't think that's the case. I would much prefer, or rather, see this be an ABC to the upside and then down, and that way they coordinate on both charts and can move down together, and that makes it much more likely we get the look that the structure and the look that we're looking for overall. So that's what we look for on the NASDAQ, is the ABC up. Again, I don't think this is impulsive to the upside because of the overlap. They only have 3 ways up, then they come back through the pivot, and I just don't think that that's going to fill out as an impulsive wave, or I don't think it did fill out as an impulsive wave, I should say. So I would expect this corrective type move that doesn't take us to new highs. So that's kind of what we're looking at on both charts. We do have the ABC as the primary path up into resistance, and then we would look for them to try to bring it back down from there. Guys, if you love the information I put out in these videos and you want real-time market updates from me, you need to check out investwithjacob.com. There's a link down in the description. Go ahead and click that link, and it will take you right over to the website. Once you're there, check out our membership plans area. We have 2 incredible monthly plans, as well as our Elliott Wave for Beginners course that you can buy on its own. Now, this Elliott Wave for Beginners course is for anybody struggling with Elliott Wave, that doesn't understand Elliott Wave, that would like to understand Elliott Wave, or wants to know how I come up with these targets and how we use it in our everyday trading. It's a very powerful course, 25 videos where I go over mindset, chart setup, and tools, all the things you need to understand to kind of confirm what you're looking for, as well as how every wave breaks down in Elliott Wave and what targets you need to see. As you can see on the screen, it is helping our traders immensely become better traders, understand the market better. So when you see negative news and the market goes up and you don't understand why, many times Elliott Wave was already looking for that type of move, and this course shows you how that works. But the really cool thing, guys, is it is included in both monthly plans. So if you want to become a monthly member, you get this course included in that monthly subscription. In our first room, the Invest with Jacob room, you get all of my real-time market updates, all of my buy and sell alerts, all of your Elliott Wave questions answered, a midday video where I go over exactly where we are in the counts and what to expect, as well as the training material you just saw. We trade the SPY and the QQQ, and we swing trade, which means our trades can last anywhere from a few days to a few weeks. So they don't trade quite as often as a day trading room does. However, if you are looking for day trading as well as individual stocks, you need to check out PT's Throne Room. In there, you get everything you get in the Invest with Jacob room, as well as individual stocks, day trading, and PT's reduced risk binary method that just crushes the market. He gets you in at a cheap price and gets you big multiples on your money, and it's how he structures the trade that's so unique. Something you kind of have to see to understand, and that's another reason we give you that 7-day free trial. He also started a challenge account where you put $4,000 into an account trading mini ES futures, averaging 3 to 4% gains per week, showing you how to build a small account into a large retirement or savings account. Guys, I would love to have you in one of these rooms, or both of these rooms, so we can all make money together. All right, key takeaways for today. On the SPX, they technically still have that downside set up as long as they're below this, but with the NASDAQ, we do expect that ABC up toward the 4,400 to 4,425 area. That ABC would then look for a C wave or wave 3 down, just depending on what kind of structure we get overall. Over on the NASDAQ, same type of setup. We are looking for that ABC to the upside into that resistance area at 15,280 to 15,355. then we would look for the start of a move down in either a wave 3 or wave C from there. Guys, it's the weekend. Grab yourself a drink, get out of the house, enjoy your family. Have a wonderful weekend. I will talk to you next week.